Welcome to the POMcast with Steve Willis, your independent, unbiased, and unbought source for Ole Miss athletics. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the show today on this November 19th, 2020. It's a Thursday. We're moving towards Friday very quickly. This was going to be the Ole Miss Texas A&M game. That game got postponed or canceled. We're not exactly sure at the moment. And they want to play it on December 19th. But either way, there's no game Saturday. Also, basketball season starts up next week. They're going to do a Justin Reed Classic where they invite 3 other teams in and play a little mini tournament in the pavilion at Ole Miss. So tune in for that. Also, for the podcast, just to let you know, there will be no podcast on Thursday or Friday. I will be in the process of relocating to the palatial Central Florida studios. Perhaps the next time after next Wednesday that you hear from me will be the We've Got Notes for the Egg Bowl. So, we took care of that. Let's take care of a little more house cleaning. You can follow us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis or at Old Positively. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast or join our group at Positively Ole Miss. You can hit us up on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell for notifications. You'll know when we're streaming in the future. It's something we're going to start to do regularly come about April. And you can join us on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. If audio is more your thing, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Those are the major ones that are out there. We're also on numerous minor podcatchers at the moment, too numerous to count, and we would use up the whole show. Since there's no game and information has kind of gotten short, I'm going to do a show over these 3 segments of how to follow your team for free. Because free content is a major part of Positively Ole Miss. And there's a way you can get all the stuff you want to get without having to pay a dime. In reality, all you're paying $10 for is a message board. So you're paying $10 to hear Bob from Bogachita, see what I did there, complain about a game that he probably knows nothing about. That's $10. Or an opinion from a sports writer that hasn't paid attention to what he's looking at for 20 years. He just writes a story based off the final score. So that's what you're paying for. Now, everybody talks about they don't want to drop off because they don't want to lose the pathway to recruiting, to the database, to the rankings. Well, the rankings, team rankings, players rankings on 24/7, the Crystal Ball player database, that is all free. No $9.99 required. You can just go in and search and see all their offers and learn all you can about players. So this is what we're going to do in the future. It's not going to be this recruiting cycle. You can get nice and mad this recruiting cycle. But once we get video, we're going to do a piece about the commits and everything, and we're going to use the 24/7 composite. That's free as well, by the way. Crystal Ball, database, rankings, all free. You don't need a subscription for that. You are only paying for the message board. So you can argue with somebody. If you want to argue with somebody on Twitter. I mean, it's basically the same thing. As this moves on, that is going to be the path forward. So use the database, use the team rankings, use the crystal ball, and you can get all you want to from recruiting and not have to pay a dime. Because we've seen from their predictions over the last couple of years, what are they, like 1 in 25, 1 in 26? I mean, whenever they get something right, it's a big surprise. They get something wrong, I mean, it's a real weatherman situation. So keep that in mind. And also understand that Lane isn't talking. Their sources under Matt Luke were the coaching staff who was feeding them information. I mean, it's not that hard. Well, Lane and his staff is not talking. So it's basically requiring all their recruiting information to come from Twitter. There's no events where analysts can talk to them. Everything this year is coming off of Twitter. So if you want to, join Twitter and become the recruiting guy that you want to see. It doesn't take long to figure out how to find it, but it's right there. I use Twitter as an avenue to get news and basically news headlines, and then I can drill down on what I want. That's what I use Twitter for. I don't really use Facebook, but it's there as well. But recruiting over Twitter, that is kind of the way forward. But I'm currently looking at Braylon Brown's profile, not logged in to 24/7, that has everything. It has not logged in, the picture, the name that you can click on, what he plays, where he's going to school, his star ranking on the composite, his star ranking on the 24/7 list, his offer sheet, his highlights, his accolades, and a scouting report to go along with a timeline. It's got everything. It even has over on the right a Twitter feed that you can click on that prospect and kind of drill down into. It's not bad. It is actually quite good free content, and we're all about free content at Positively Ole Miss. All right, segment 1 in the books. We just talked a little bit of recruiting, and we're going to continue to do it right here on the POMcast. Stick around.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen. As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
All right, POMcast. Thank you for joining us today. I wanted to take today to introduce you to free coverage of college sports. And that should be the way forward. I realize that some people do it as almost like a drug, and it takes a little bit of withdrawal to get off of it. I understand that. You want to argue with somebody, I get that. But you're paying $10 for a message board. So those people that are pissing you off, you're paying to do it. There's no realistic football knowledge going on. They're randomly talking about junk and you're paying to do it. Once you break that chain, football becomes enjoyable again. It's amazing. The hope springs back into things by just eliminating that part of your life. Still get all the recruiting information that you want to get, crystal balls, databases, rankings, all available for free. All it is just giving up a message board. Which is, if you stay for the message board, it's like saying that this random other person that is paying money is worth you paying $10 to listen to. You're basically paying $10 a month to listen to a conversation. It's silly. It's just a horrible thing. And I understand that why they're there. I get it. But we're trying to change that. It's a completely free model. If you give free content, you're in high standing on this show. We will promote you. We will do everything we can to get you to amplify your voice to the most number of people. Absolutely. And you can come on our TV show in April. We'll put it there. We'll let you promote it. But like I said, we'll amplify it. One thing we will not do is amplify people that charge for information, that put it behind a paywall. Now, if a person works for one of those sites and they're also a podcaster that does that, we will promote the podcast because that's an avenue. But we will not promote anything that extorts money from people. It's not right. It's just not right. So what we're going to do through this, and we'll make a video of this, of all the players that are that you can see, all the things you can do for free, and how you can get over on doing this. Basically, it's just determined that the only thing you're paying money for is the message board. You're actually paying to be unhappy in most cases. And it's a carryover from back in the day. I understand that as well. You got to find that other avenue to hit this level. So that's the way that will work. Free content will always get promoted, but team rankings, recruiting database, recruit rankings, crystal balls, prospect database. You can see all the offers and everything there, all available for free. In case you did not know that. So we will move on a little bit to the basketball tournament. I'm kind of curious to see the team, Devontae Shuler and the boys, Demencio Vaughn, Romello, White. I want to see the growth of Austin Crowley. I want to see year 2 of Dream. I'm just really excited for this team and where they could be moving forward, because they kind of play a combination of the new school basketball that is played everywhere, which is all analytics driven. That's the threes and layups. And they play some old school in there as well. Of course, that could be Brian Tyree having a very good mid-range game. I understand that. And we're going to have people on the show that can see and have the knowledge to talk about this at a higher level. This is a football show to me, but we will cover basketball and baseball. Honestly, I have not watched the NBA in 15, 20 years. The only basketball I watch is Ole Miss basketball. It's the only thing that interests me. And I've done that for, like I said, a couple of decades. But I want to see this group, Demencio Vaughn and Romello White and Devontae Shuler and all those guys. Matthew Morrell. I want to see him. I hear he's very springy and a heck of an athlete at the 2, and he's going to be joined next year. We just had a recruiting class that includes James White and Deshaun Ruffin. Deshaun Ruffin is the highest ranked recruit to ever go to Ole Miss, so Kermit, he's on to something. Now, if you listen yesterday, nobody is saying anything right now, but there's a chance that games are played in empty gyms because right now we're going through some things COVID-wise. Right now, this is going to get worse before it gets better. And honestly, the elections need to hurry up and get certified. And this needs to stop. Because this is actively killing other people. We can go back to focusing on COVID. You remember whenever they said it was going to go away November 4th? Isn't that weird? It's weird they were wrong about that. So, yeah. I don't see a way that an indoor sport gets played in the current environment with fans in the stands. Now, we can all wear a mask and we can stop this current environment in 3 weeks because that's basically what it would be, 3 weeks. And just continue wearing masks until we get the vaccine and all this stuff can go away. We could do that. But what is going on right now, and is the dangest thing, if we would do this and sacrifice at all for 3 weeks, 3 weeks, instead of taking half measures, this would be gone. But instead, we take half measures, which slowly prolongs the virus and keeps it active. To the point where people use the term COVID fatigue sets in. Yeah, because we're taking half measures, it's not going anywhere. But in the meantime, we're killing 1,000 people per day. That's a Pearl Harbor every day since March. Think about that. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But so it's hard for me to get really invested in this basketball season because I don't see any way it can be played. And that's going to affect baseball. For people that don't want to do this and do half measures extending this thing, because the virus isn't supposed to be widely spread until April at the earliest. Doesn't take a rocket science to see that the baseball season would be half over by the time I got there. So, as it stands now, You can blow up the next 6 months of your athletic want, or you can just wear a mask. You can not go out. You can not gather. The best possible situation that we could have at this point is the election results being certified. So we have to get there. We have about 2 more weeks. Once that gets certified and everything blows down and OAN quits, well, they'll probably never quit throwing fake security or fake conspiracy theories out there, but we can move on, which is important. We can handle this virus finally, because we finally are going to have somebody that's going to take it seriously. Although he'll have no power until January 20th. So we got half measures for a couple more months. That's going to just slowly kill people. So just understand that. Like I said, if you want basketball, if you want baseball to take place, something has to change. Period. So that's a little bit of how to follow for free and a little bit of COVID rant. And I'm Stephen Willis, and we're going to play the pick segment from around the SEC next. Stick around.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, around the SEC, Stephen Willis, along with Corey Burton and Jeb Beecham. It's picks time.
Picks.
Picks it is.
I'm getting back to 500 this week. I'm doing it.
Well, that would be a nice trick if you could do that. Let's see. Week 9, we've got me at 22-16. I'm very good. Thank you very much. Jeb's at 19-20. Corey is at 17-22. And Becky is at 19-20 as well. So you got some work to do, Corey.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to get them all right this week.
And if you get them all right, you'll at least be over 500. I mean, the Music City Bowl could be in your future.
Hey, it's a great bowl. They do a good job, the bowl committee, so I'm in for it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to get on the General Jackson and have a barbecue cook-off with whoever we're playing against.
All right. Florida is favored by 31.5 points at Vandy. I am taking Vandy, the Ken Seals fan club right here. I am the president, the chapter lead. Let's go.
I agree. I think Florida is looking ahead, scared of that big matchup with Tennessee in a couple weeks, and they don't see Vandy coming. Vandy punches them in the mouth. Still loses, but does better than you would think.
Yeah, by 4 touchdowns, still loses.
I think this is going to be the Derek Mason to Stanford as defensive coordinator game. I think Florida's going to roll big. I think they get Kyle Pitts back this weekend, so watch out.
And Becky is taking the Commodores. LSU is favored by 2 points on the road in Fayetteville against Arkansas. I'm going to take the Hogs. I just have a gut feeling.
Yeah, this is a toss-up. I am going the exact opposite. I think LSU will have a much better game this week than they had last week, which is just barely going to pass Arkansas.
LSU's got no chance. As Bruce Arians says, no risk it, no biscuit. This is going to be a weird game, but I think Arkansas is going to win because it's a weird game.
And Becky is going to take the Hogs in this game as well because of numerous reasons that only she knows. But she's copying me too, so that's good. All right, Kentucky getting 30 points on the road at Alabama. Lay the points, take the Tide.
Unfortunately, I agree. Every time I bet against Alabama to cover a spread, they prove me wrong by a lot. So I'm going to stick with Alabama until they prove me wrong.
Yeah, until Bama doesn't cover a huge spread, they're going to cover a huge spread. So, roll Tide, Paul.
And Becky took Kentucky in this game. Tennessee getting 10.5 points on the Plains at Auburn. I am actually taking the Vols in this game because I think after the Auburn-LSU game, there's kind of room for a slip-up.
I hope you're right. I just feel like Auburn, like I said, they're not great and too much, but they're playing pretty well. And Tennessee just has not, in the last 4 games, have just completely lost their offense. So I think Auburn's going to cover.
Yeah, I mean, I think Auburn still has a chance to get in the clubhouse at 8-2. So they're going to do that this weekend against Tennessee. I think they're going to win, and they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. So give me the War Eagle.
All right, and Becky is taking the Vols. Mississippi State getting 25 points against the Georgia Dogs. The way I did this one, is Mississippi State going to score? No. Can Georgia score 25 points? Yes. Take the Dogs, Georgia Dogs.
I didn't have that good of a thought process going into it, but that makes perfect sense. I'm taking Georgia as well because I agree. I don't think Mississippi State's going to be able to do anything against Georgia's defense. And Georgia may still have a little bit to figure out with quarterback, but this is a good week to do it. I think he scores at least 25 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the Dogs, DAWGS, the only way to spell dogs, because why not?
And Becky is taking Mississippi State, which I'm not really sure why there, but
he is staying loyal to Mike Leach, and I appreciate that. But
Mizzou is giving away 6.5 points to South Carolina, the former Fighting Will Muschamps. I'm taking the Missouri Tigers in this game in the Columbia of South Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. I think South Carolina has a decent team, but with everything going on there, I think Missouri will cover that spread this week.
So when LSU and Clemson played, it was will the real Death Valley please stand up? This one is will the real Columbia please stand up? And Mizzou is going to say, sit down, South Carolina. And they are the Fighting Bobos now, and they're not going to put up much of a fight. They have too many people opting out now. The train is crashed, and Mizzou is going to benefit. Give me the Tigers. Go Tigers.
And Becky is taking Missouri, and I'd appreciate it, Corey, if you would not do that again. So that is
you have a bad flashback?
Yeah, seriously.
If it makes you feel any better, I took my shirt off when I said that.
Yeah. Did you rip it off, though? Did you rip it off?
I might have to get a new hoodie.
Yeah, the only thing that can be on there is just the collar because it's made out of different material to do the Ed Orgeron correctly.
There you go. And I have to crush a Red Bull can on my head, right?
Yeah. And you have to say things that is unintelligible.
Go Tigers.
Yes, exactly. That is our show for today. Thanks for listening. Tune in while you're driving in on the way to your whatever game you're going to. We'll be back next Thursday with more around the SEC.
If things don't work out for Edo at LSU, he could always go to Louisiana and be the mascot for the Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, no doubt there.